All right, Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yep.
So what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 2 a.m. in Sweden, a.k.a. We Got Next. I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes, a.k.a. AO Shifty, with a friend, a special guest of the show, Steven, at Steven_Springs. Steven, how you been? How's life going? What's up with you in the world?
Life is good. Life is busy.
Okay.
School, sports. I just said my patio was done. That's awesome.
That's a big thing. Yeah.
Probably going to be doing the show live from the patio
Okay.
going forward instead of my office.
Okay.
And then one day,
almost
hopefully
like old
soon-
times.
Huh? Yeah. And hopefully soon we can get a random day, get you over here and do the show from the patio.
Yes.
But yeah, just busy. Football is off and running, college and pro, diving into conference play a little bit this weekend before things really ramp up. So, yeah, no, all good.
So before we continue with any of this, usually we have different hot take segments. And the biggest one, I was telling Steven before we started the show, I got a lot of text messages about Steven because in fantasy football, Steven had one of the wildest, craziest picks in the world, choosing Saquon Barkley first. And then following that up a couple of rounds, 6 to 7 rounds later, choosing J.K. Dobbins.
I told you.
Texted me.
I told you. Did I not tell you that?
He said, I might regret this later.
Told you. Hold on. I need to keep talking. I need to find this text.
And I got so many texts before Christian McCaffrey went on IR and then after Christian McCaffrey went on IR saying, does Steven have insider information? Because why did he not choose Christian McCaffrey? And yet this happened because everyone was saying in every draft, everyone's choosing Christian McCaffrey. The other part is I was joking around telling people that whenever I choose Christian McCaffrey, every other year he gets injured. So this was the year everyone's mad at me. And I was like, Steven did not choose him, had number 1 overall. Everyone the day of the draft was like, why is Steven choosing this person? Like, get your mans, because why is he doing this? And Saquon Barkley is one of the few that are chosen in the first round that are not injured. You have everyone either getting injured or getting arrested, or their quarterbacks getting injured. So Tyreek Hill, injured. And then also his quarterback, injured. Also arrested. You have Christian McCaffrey, injured. You have Breece Hall, who's one of the few that did not get injured. Justin Jefferson had injuries. Jamar Chase dealing with a lot of stuff going on. Amon-Ra St. Brown, same thing as well. Saquon Barkley looks pretty good to me. Looks pretty solid. If you look after week 1, solid. This week, people would have thought more of it if he caught that ball, but you can't really blame it all on him.
Dude,
but still,
as much as I love my guy, and I texted you, I said 2 things. And I've been high on J.K. Dobbins. I hate him with Ohio State, but I've been high on him since he came out. If he could stay healthy, I said I'm probably going to regret drafting Dobbins. But then I said that's a big one if he does his thing.
Yes, and everyone knows he was good.
Yeah. As much as I love Saquon because obviously the Penn State thing, I lost my fantasy game last night because of him. Because of the touchdown he had that they called back. They called him down to 1.
Yeah.
Hurts scored the next play. And then that catch at the end probably is a touchdown or probably is very close.
First. Yeah.
Regardless, it's another handful of points. I only lost by like 12 or so. So those 2 touchdowns or those 2 things would have won me my game. And, it is what it is. But, I draft Saquon every year because, not because I'm a Penn State guy, not because it should be like a 3rd round pick, but because I think when he's healthy, when he's doing his thing, as we saw as a rookie, and up until he got hurt his second year, he's easily one of the top 3 and players in the NFL when he's healthy. Because especially with that offensive line in Philly, dude, he was getting chunks of yards.
Yes.
Chunks.
Yeah.
And chunks of yards. And he has this thing sometimes where he'll cut back the wrong way.
Yeah.
But there's the occasion where if he cuts back the way he probably should, it's another 10, 12 yards, maybe a touchdown. But then he also, if he goes the wrong way, he'll still get those like 4 or 5 extra yards because he's so damn big and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And like once he gets going, like once they get in a rhythm, their offense. Jalen Hurts made a couple bad throws last night, but not having AJ Brown, that hurts. Devontae Smith is not AJ Brown as much as he's as good as he is. Jahan Dotson's only been there like an hour. Like you're not gonna Dallas Goedert, they got him, but Jalen Hurts has to use his legs like he did last night. But we'll get into all this. But if Saquon can stay healthy and start racking up yards,
I'm telling you,
there's no reason he can't win the MVP.
No,
like especially if they win the division and are top 3 seed or whatever, they'll turn around. They'll be fine. It's 2 games in the season. I'm not even remotely concerned about. I'm not concerned about any team in the league right now after 2 games, aside from the Panthers.
No. So kind of the next part I wanted to touch on with that is the first hot take was, of course, letting Steven take his victory lap. But the other part was on the flip side, the injuries. So I'm going to list some of the injuries, and then I kind of want your thoughts just overall how it is. So Ken Walker injured. They're saying, of course, 1 to 2 weeks, probably more. Of course, Tua, I think he should retire. We'll get into that later. Jordan Love, he's still injured. T. Higgins, 2 weeks. But, when you're waiting on a contract, you're going to make sure to ice that thing a longer time. Joe Mixon, injured. Christian McCaffrey, we talked about injured. Isaiah Pacheco got bent like a pretzel. He's probably out 6 to 8 weeks with his fibula. Cooper Kupp, injured. The Rams are essentially really done at this point. Justin Jefferson, he should be fine. A.J. Brown, out 2 weeks. Deebo Samuel, out 2 to 3 weeks, they're saying. And this is from one of these doctors I follow. His name is Deepak Chona. He's one of the few that I'll kind of like follow what he says, and we'll talk on the side. Amon-Ra St. Brown, injured. Josh Downs, injured. Anthony Richardson, who the hell knows? Rashad White, he might not play week 3. Tank Bigsby, not as big. Jake Ferguson, another one. Nick Chubb, we already know. Hawkinson, we already know. So all in all, saying that, they're saying right now, J.K. Dobbins is the front runner for comeback player of the year.
Yeah, easily.
1,000%.
Especially if they, if they go 12-5, and they have like a really good season, and he's, the reason or like a big part of it. It sucks because he plays for the Chargers.
I know.
He has to have like a LaDainian Tomlinson type of season for him to be considered in the MVP talk. But if he racks up, 1,500 yards on the ground, another like 300-400 the year, almost has 2,000 all-purpose yards and a bunch of touchdowns.
And he's splitting time.
Yeah, and like a bunch of touchdowns. Like once he, I think another thing, once he gets going, like they might just start feeding him. If he's healthy, like why not? He's like 25 years old.
Yeah,
like you just start, like he was doing in Baltimore. Catch out of the backfield, rack up a ton of yards, bunch of touchdowns, and they go 12-5. Justin Herbert has like a mediocre season compared to what he's used to because of Dobbins. Yeah, I could see him probably being high in the MVP. It's just he plays the Chargers and like no one gives a shit about the Chargers.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no one cares. There's no Charger fans.
No, like, they always say that. Yeah, there's not.
Like especially now that they're in LA.
Mm-hmm.
No, you like he has to have a spectacular season. And I haven't seen I'll look at their schedule, but I don't know how many primetime games they're going to play. Actually, I would bet more than I think because of Harbaugh. But let me look. You can go on.
Yeah. So the other big thing that I wanted to kind of just say with that is
real quick. The rest of the season, they have 3 primetime games. They play the Cardinals at 9:00 on a Monday. That sucks. That game's not gonna be over for a while. So,
PM.
They play Baltimore at home on a Monday night, and then they play.
That's just because the brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they play the Chiefs. And they play the Chiefs in December on NBC. So they only have 3 more opportunities to be on national TV.
Yep, and they better. Yeah, so they better make a lot with that. I want to segue over to where Mr. Harbaugh used to be, and that is college football. Before I do that, I think Steven will finally let me say this because last week he was like, "You never know." Florida State's done. Like
they're cooked, dude. They're cooked, and I'm so happy about that. Like, there's a few programs in the country, like actually a handful, way more in college than there are in the NFL, in terms of like collective number of teams that that fans hate. Now, obviously, there's 134 D1 teams as opposed to 32 NFL teams. No shit. But there's only a handful of teams that people that hate. Notre Dame's one of them. Florida State's another one. Ohio State's one. I wouldn't say Bama, not all time, but people hate Bama now because they're winning and all, but like,
Yep.
Florida State is definitely one of those teams. Michigan's another one, especially now. Michigan, everybody hates Michigan. Everybody outside of Ann Arbor hates Michigan. I would say Penn State loosely at times. People hate Penn State for obvious reasons, but Florida State is absolutely one of those teams. Miami used to be, not anymore. Miami hasn't really been relevant in a long time. Florida State, there's like when Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, dude. Penn State could have lost that day. Penn State could have lost that day. Notre Dame loses to Northern Illinois. Great. Florida State gets starts off 0-3, and they played like dog shit against Memphis. Dog shit, dude. I know, like, you have to respect your opponents, and Penn State didn't do this against Bowling Green, and we almost lost. I know you got to respect your opponents, and you can't look ahead or anything like that. It's typical coach talk. But if you're Florida State, the athletes you have, like, you should beat Memphis. I don't care how bad your season's starting. You should be
not even in conference play yet.
Like Notre Dame, I get it. Like, you have to respect all these teams, and that's why they play the game. I get it. But like, it just shows you the talent doesn't always win. You gotta actually have good football players to do this. The talent, doesn't always win, but still 0-3. Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. So I'll list it off and then I'll give the floor to Steven. So the top 10, within the top 7, 6 of them are from the SEC, but the SEC is not what it used to be. So it's a little more easy. Do it this way. 1 is Texas, 2 Georgia, 3 Ohio State, 4 Alabama, 5 Ole Miss, 6 Tennessee, 7 Missouri, 8 Miami, the U Miami, 9 Oregon, and then 10 Penn State. For starters, what are your thoughts?
Penn State dropped 2 spots, which was, I don't know. I don't know how much of Penn State season you've watched, but we struggled against Bowling Green in the first half.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you struggle for a half against a team like that, you end up. We didn't even play this week. We had a bye week, and we dropped 2 spots, which is very it's not unusual, but it doesn't always happen. And there weren't that many huge wins by the other teams ahead of us. Miami again, the first 3-4 weeks of the season, you have some conference games in there, but you're Penn State plays Kent State this weekend. Hang on, I need to tell you what. I need to tell you
RIP to Kent State, because I said RIP to Kent State because they just had a rough one,
dude. I feel bad. You gotta feel bad for these teams. Kent State played Tennessee this weekend, and there's 134 teams in D1 and FBS. Quite literally, Kent State is the worst team in college football. I hate the word literally. I hate it, but they're literally the worst in college football. Statistically speaking, they give up.
They are.
They give up 50 points a game.
Yes,
we shade under 50. It's 49.6. They give up 570 yards a game, which is unfathomable. You got to try and do that. Listen to this. Okay, Tennessee had 32 first downs. Kent State had 8. Surprised they had that many. Tennessee scored 71 points. They scored 37 in the first quarter. 37 in the first quarter.
That's insane.
They scored 6 in the second half. Imagine if they would have kept the foot on the gas.
Yes.
At halftime, the coach got to be all right, guys,
we got to chill out.
Chill.
Yeah.
Kent State had 112 yards total offense. Tennessee had 740. Kent State had 54 rushing yards. Tennessee had 456. I say all that to say, Quick Slants comes out on Thursday, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern time. I've already recorded it because it's the quickest one I've done probably yet. It's 18 minutes. Because it's Kent State. I don't need to talk about it. I said, and I'm gonna put this out there. If Kent State scores a point, field goal, touchdown, safety, 2-point, whatever, infamous 1-point play, if they score a point, I'm not doing the Quick Slants the following week. I'm not doing the Quick Slants the following week. We play Illinois at home, 7:30. If they score a point, they even cross the 50. I'm not going to do the Quick Slants the following week. That's how bad they are. That's how bad they are, and that's what we should do to them. They should not score a point. They shouldn't score a point.
Yes. So last week on the show, I was looking at Tennessee when it showed the rankings, Tennessee against Kent State, and I said, that's the next opponent for Penn State. Those are 2, not just regular losses. They are gonna just get whooped both times.
tough, dude. It's tough.
And they don't even get to do them things at home. Like
No.
they got to go on the road and end up doing that.
And I'm sure us in Tennessee, I'm sure we're paying them, high six figures to come play us type of thing. You pay those smaller schools. But yeah. Got to feel bad for them for a little bit, but like not really.
So the other part I wanted to bring up, speaking of Tennessee, is did you hear about Tennessee increasing their ticket prices?
I did.
What are your thoughts on that? Because other schools might do the same.
I think it happens regardless of what Tennessee is doing. Like ticket prices typically increase, especially if your team's doing well. But it's all because of the NIL stuff.
Yep.
And it's gonna be like a fund for the players, if I remember correctly. I didn't. Again,
nope, you're correct. Yeah, they actually.
Your boy reads the headlines and reads a little bit, but I don't read the whole article. So, but like, I mean, like it's either you buy the tickets or you don't. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like
they're going to.
These fans are going to do it. You know what I mean? There's 100 stadium seats, 100,000 people. Like there's so many Tennessee alumni. Like someone's going to do it. If Frank doesn't do it, Jim is going to do it. Yeah. Like it's just So. I'm not surprised. Penn State's probably gonna do that here in a couple of years when the stadium is redone. But especially if Penn State starts winning, you get to the playoffs, go deep in the playoffs. It's the SEC for Tennessee. Obviously, they have a ton of money, so obviously they're gonna do it. I'm not surprised by that in any capacity. And do I think more schools are gonna do it? Probably, or they'll find a different way to do it that doesn't say ticket sales, but like their fans are contributing to the NIL fund somehow.
Yeah. So kind of the last part I'll end up bringing up with this is, so I will probably be the one that mentions schools such as LSU or the random schools like Miami, Missouri, and Tennessee. But LSU plays South Carolina. For starters, they almost lost to South Carolina. Yeah. I don't want people to think that LSU, they could have dropped in the rankings with that. Yes, South Carolina is good, but after a while, LSU can't lose some of these games because they have not started conference play. And those are the games that you can afford your one loss. You can't be having your losses now.
So on top of that, I was going to say this, but I don't want to forget it. Michigan plays USC this weekend.
Yep.
In Ann Arbor. USC is a lot better than people think. They're ranked 11th in the country right now. Yeah. So they're a top 10 team. Penn State plays them in like 3 weeks. They're way better. They beat LSU to start the season. That LSU win is it's still impressive. LSU was a top 10 team at the time, or pretty close to it. So we'll see how that plays out and how that looks at the end of the season. But Michigan's already got one loss to Texas. I know that they're the number one team in the country, but that doesn't matter.
No,
this isn't college basketball where you have if you're a borderline 2-3 seed, whatever, losing to your strength of schedule, that doesn't apply in college football. If you got Michigan could have 2 losses in the first 3 games of the season. First 4 game they have first 4 games of the season they can be 2-2. I mean, I said again, taking a victory lap. I said Michigan was going to be dog shit compared to what they were last year. Washington's the same way. Michigan has to replace J.J. McCarthy. Harbaugh. They got to replace Blake Corum. Lost a ton of other guys. So they're not going to be nearly as good. And if they go 2-2, their playoff chances, they got to run the gauntlet. I think they play Oregon. Obviously, they play Ohio State. So good luck, right? You gotta go 8-0 the rest of the way. That happened to Penn State in 2016. We started off 2-2, and then we went 8-0 the rest of the way. Won the Big Ten, didn't make the playoffs. 14 playoff. So if it was 12, we probably would have made it. But like you said, early season losses like this, you can't afford that right now. A second loss, nope, you're done.
Yeah, you didn't even get into the other games. So that was kind of the main thing looking at over there. I kind of want to end up bringing it over to the big boys at this point and in the NFL because we have a lot of things I want to get Steven's opinions on. The first one is Tua. What are your thoughts? Of course, I know you saw the concussion. I know people don't want to bring it up all the time and they want to say get him back on the field. But what are your thoughts in terms of Tua having another one, 4 in the last 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, he should retire, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone would agree with that. I don't know. There's just no real reward for continuing to play because, I mean, clearly the chances of this happening again,
it's high.
He's just one of those guys.
Yep.
And like Saquon Barkley, how long until he gets hurt? Like that's the
That's the
question.
shitty
Like
part. Yeah.
I told a bunch of people I drafted Saquon. They're like, yeah, okay, good luck after week 6.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Tua. Like, when's his next concussion? Dude, you've had 5 and 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like diagnosed, and how many more you probably didn't have diagnosed?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
He's young too. He's 25. I don't know, man. Like, I know these. I know like these guys have like small circles. Some of them do. And like we've all since Tua went to Alabama, who he was. His story was always documented, talked about his family. There has to be someone. There has to be someone in his inner circle, mom, dad, brother, who like someone, like grandma, whoever, aunt, uncle, to be like, look, dude, you need to
stop.
Like, you got your money.
Yeah.
You're good. Like, you got generational wealth. Like, you're good. Just go. Just like retire, please, because I know like the way we've seen CTE work. Yes, there's like signs of it maybe early on, but like I don't know how to even put this, but like the guys who end up we find out later on they have CTE, they're all like in their 60s. So like just retire now, like limit that. Like you're probably gonna get it because you're a football player. You're probably gonna get it.
Yep.
Limit that. Go live your best life, and like because like your next one, dude, could.
They look worse every single time.
Also, I would be remiss if I did not mention he ran into Damar Hamlin's chest.
I was texting somebody about that. Someone texted me saying, how would it be if Damar Hamlin is the reason why Tua's career's ended?
There's a something in like pro wrestling. It's called turning heel, where like you turn to the bad guy, and Damar Hamlin was like, generational story of like he died. He literally died on the field.
He died on the field.
He was dead.
Yes.
A man died on the field. Yeah, we kept going with the game too. By the way,
that's almost wiped under the rug now.
Bro, he died.
Yes,
he died. Dude, people don't even realize that he died, and we just I do like he was like ambulance took him off. Okay, let's go next play.
Keep going.
Like,
yes,
keep going, dude.
Yes,
Tua is like he's heading that way, dude. He's like his brain's like just can't handle that much more. It's crazy.
No.
Like someone has to tell this. I know you love football. Like, and I like, you know, Jordan, and I lived with him. I saw firsthand, like what he went through, like the injuries he had playing and like, cause he loves football. Like, yes, you love Penn State. Yes, you love the Dolphins. Yes, you love all that, but you love the game of football. I get it, dude. I love football, but like, it's not like worth your life. Like, I get it. Gladiator mode. It's not, that's not it, man.
I really want him to talk with Percy Harvin and Andrew Luck. Those are two that kind of said, look, we just had to hang it up because it was not worth it. And you're taking so many. And the worst part about Tua's, they're on primetime games. Oof. They're not just, all right, pass by 1 o'clock game. These are Thursday games. Like, all these games are nationally televised.
Do you think it would matter? Do you think it would matter? Like, do you think this would be as big of a deal if it wasn't? Like, if his games were just on like you said, just passing by a 1 o'clock game against like the Pats or like against the Chargers on like a 4 or 5 game in LA, like you got another one. Like, we talk about it, sure, but like national TV, dude, where everybody sees it.
Because if you look at injuries such as Alex Smith's, that was not national TV. It was, you had to almost find it.
And Damar Hamlin, same thing. I know he died on TV.
Yeah,
but
it
like,
was national.
If that was like a 1 o'clock game, against the Jets type of thing, yes, we're still talking about it because he died, but like not like we are, because that was Thursday or Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And like everybody saw it, bro. Everybody saw it. And it's just like, but back to the original point. Tua, yes, please retire.
Yeah. So another big reason why I said this, going back to the point you just brought up, I don't know if some people remember Kevin Everett, who used to play for the Buffalo Bills. That was not exactly. That was not a primetime game. And that's how some people forget about that. But if the game was in a primetime situation, I'm sure more people would end up mentioning those type of things.
So
that was.
It's funny you mentioned that. So not funny, but Penn State had a cornerback in 2000. His name was Adam Talaferro. Played. He was a freshman. We were playing at Ohio State. He made a tackle, paralyzed from the neck down. It was on ABC, national television on Saturday. Penn State, Ohio State, and like he had a book written about him. All this shit, dude. Like it was like a national thing for like a long time. And then the next year, we played Miami, that 0-1 Miami team that won the national title that everyone always talks about. We played them at home. One of the first games under the lights of Beaver Stadium. And Talaferro walked out onto the field like a year later, like after he was hurt. And then it was like, again, on ABC. Everybody knew about it, dude. It was like a national thing. But like, again, you got Kevin Everett. Like there was Eric LeGrand, a former Rutgers player. Same thing, paralyzed on kickoff. No one knows about these dudes because it was not on national television.
It's crazy.
And only a couple million people saw it instead of 12.
Exactly.
Nuts.
Yeah. So that was one thing. The other part I wanted to bring up with you was Bryce Young. So what are your thoughts on the benching? Do you feel it is something that should have happened right now?
College quarterbacks, coaches are way better at doing this than NFL coaches are. I don't know if it's just the demand to win in the NFL, like win now or what, but college coaches will allow like true freshmen to, unless like things are just so bad, like they are in Carolina. A lot of times, like college coaches will let these kids suffer, let them build, and because they're like you got to develop them because you got them for 4 years. Like you really can't bench a 5-star quarterback or one of these big time guys, dude. You throw a couple picks as a rookie in the NFL, everybody turns on you. Yeah, and then Bryce Young was the number 1 pick last year.
He was.
How are you benching him? How is that? How is that the right thing to do?
Yeah, Daniel Jones gets
you sunk all this money into this kid, dude. All this money. It's not on him. Yes, he has to make the throws. Yes, he has to do all the things you need to do to be a successful quarterback. I have no idea. You don't have no idea what he's like behind the scenes, how he prepares, how he studies. I've heard nothing that would suggest he's poor in that area, right? They never talked about that. They just show what they show on the field, which is fine. That's a large part of it. That's how you win games. You got to put a team around him. You got to put coaches around him. They changed everything, dude. And then this kid started from scratch, just like every other person. What if are the receivers running the right routes correctly? What's the blocking scheme like? Are these guys tackling on defense? The Panthers just suck, dude.
They do, yes.
Bryce Young is not controlling the defense. He's not calling the plays. He's not playing defense. He is the quarterback. Yes, everything falls on him because he touches the ball every time. Do we need to go back and talk about how bad Peyton Manning was as a rookie? Do we need to talk about how a lot of these guys, the anomalies like Ben Roethlisberger going 15-1 as a starter? It's just that doesn't happen. That's not. Ben Roethlisberger also had an elite defense at the time. The Panthers don't. He's not he's not Cam Newton, but Cam struggled a little bit when he was a rookie. But you got to keep this kid going. And Bryce Young, he was number 1 pick last year. You got to get this. You can't just change everything on this kid too like that. That falls a ton on the organization, coaches, everything. You can, but you can't bench him, dude. That's his mental.
It's shot,
dude. It's I hope he does well. I cannot say a bad thing about Bryce Young. I have nothing negative to say about him. He seems like a good kid. Yes, he's small. He's not like the Russell Wilson build. Michael Vick was 5'11", but he was stocky. Some of these quarterbacks are Baker Mayfield, a small dude, but stocky, right?
Yeah.
Bryce Young's quick, dude. He's a $185 soaking wet.
He looks like a school kid. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. He's a $185 soaking wet.
Yeah.
You got to protect him. You got to put some talent around him. You got to sink some money into it. So that's not all on him. And I feel bad for the kid. I hope he turns around. I hope either he goes somewhere else and gets things going, or things go well in Carolina. But that's everyone's going off on the Panthers for this isn't Bryce Young's fault, right?
No,
it's all the Panthers.
I partially believe that this wouldn't be as magnified right now if CJ Stroud wasn't as good as he was. Like if CJ Stroud was not good and the 1 and 2 pick both weren't good, it would be almost, I don't know if people remember the whole Josh draft when you had like Josh Rosen, of course, like I
They
think
all
that was
suck.
him. They all, yeah.
They were all bad.
Yeah. And they all had a longer chance. They're not giving Bryce Young that. And it's just because you had him do well. And then, of course, I guess you're thinking, oh, well, Jaden Daniels is kind of doing something decent, Anthony Richardson. But there's other pieces around. They said that this owner is one of the worst, that he's just firing everybody just left and right, not just football, like soccer as well and the other sports down there.
And it's also like the more like games that go by and CJ Stroud does well and Bryce Young does not do well, it just looks worse and worse and worse. So like they're just cutting ties. It seems like now, because it seems like obviously the Texans are going to keep going and going and going. The Panthers are going to go down, down, down.
Yep. So, and then a lot of this, they should have never done that trade that they did. But I want to switch over to the game picks. And before we do the game picks, I'm going to let everyone know who's still undefeated so we can kind of see the way Steven's mind is going to think. So the Bills 2-0, the Steelers are 2-0, Texans 2-0, the Chargers and the Chiefs are 2-0. Nobody in the NFC East. The Vikings are 2-0, Saints, Buccaneers undefeated, and also the Seahawks are undefeated. So kind of segueing that into week 3, first game we have is the Patriots and Jets. Who do you have?
Let's come back to that one.
Okay, that's fine. So the Browns Giants.
Ugh.
The Giants are not good.
Two quarterbacks who everyone is just disgusted with, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Wow.
Just because the Browns are, I don't know, the Browns are the Browns.
Yeah. So Giants, only Malik Neighbors is whoever I care about. I'm going with the Browns just because of their defense. Packers Titans.
Packers.
So I have the Packers as well in that one. Bears Colts.
Colts.
So I have the Colts. Texans Vikings.
Battle
of undefeateds, I guess.
Oof. I'm gonna go with Minnesota.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Minnesota. Houston's favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going with Houston in that one. Eagles Saints. They do not look good.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Okay. I think this is one of those bounce back games. The Saints scoring a lot of points. I mean, it's tough to keep that up. 40 plus points in the NFL is tough.
Yes,
that's hard to do. I don't think it's hard to keep that up. So I think this is like a quick letdown for them. I'm gonna go Eagles.
Okay, so I have the Eagles in that one. Their defense, I've told everyone, and they finally let me do it. Eagles defense is terrible. Like one of the worst I've seen. I said the Panthers, Bryce Young could absolutely score on the Eagles defense at this point. Chargers, Steelers.
Steelers, baby, let's go! I'm driving the bandwagon again.
Yep,
I think
should be starting.
Steelers have one of the best defenses in the league. TJ Watt is going to win the Defensive Player of the Year and potentially league MVP because he's going to be balling out the rest of the season if he stays healthy. And I give it like 2 or 3 more games, and either this offense is going to stay like it is with Justin Fields. I don't think they change to Russell Wilson. You can't do that. And I don't think Mike Tomlin would do that. Just Russell Wilson hasn't played in like weeks, months. So a couple more games, and the season's either gonna offense is gonna stay how it is, defense is gonna be balling though, so it's not gonna be that big of a deal, or they get in a rhythm and this offense takes off. If they do, look out.
Yeah,
because I think once Fields gains confidence, he made some throws last week and he had some plays that got called back, but once he gains more confidence, I think him and George Pickens are going to start to develop a good chemistry.
That's the big thing.
And I think that's going to open a lot of doors for Najee Harris as well, Jalen Warren, Pat Freiermuth. I think this offense can be really good. But I got to see it first because the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers has been the same for the last 3 years. But this is a slightly better. This is not slightly. That's mean. This is much better than Kenny Pickett.
Absolutely.
So yes, just by that alone, you would think this offense is gonna keep going a little bit. So I give it 2 or 3 games. I think at that point, like I said, offense is either going to stay the same and defense is going to keep balling, or the offense is going to take off and defense keeps balling again.
Yeah. So I have the Steelers in that one. Next one, Broncos Bucks. You better not say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm going with the Bucks. But the Broncos, Bo Nix does not look great. But they're leaving him in there.
That's the thing.
They're leaving him in there. He wasn't the number one pick. I know that. But another rookie quarterback who's struggling, just leave him in there. He'll figure it out. Or he won't. But you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Give him
so I got the Bucks as well. Baker's doing fine. Baker and Chris Godwin are doing really good over there. Panthers, Raiders, dude. That's
a big win versus the Ravens. I'm so pumped the Ravens are 0-2.
Ravens defense are some butt too.
Max Crosby playing lights out already. It's 2 games, but playing lights out. Brock Bowers,
he's looking good. Yeah,
I'm gonna be a
and then Adams,
and I drafted him too in one of my fantasy leagues.
See,
I'm very.
Can you imagine if they get a good quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
these are just bandaged quarterbacks right now. Yeah, Gardner Minshew is not the future.
We all love Gardner Minshew, swag, all that, but come on, you know. I'm not gonna put all my eggs in their basket to, win the division and win the Super Bowl and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, but yeah, it's good for them.
Yeah, I have the Raiders, Dolphins, Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks, dude. I think they're gonna make waves this season. Dolphins are fucked.
They are.
Unless Tua comes back, which is going to happen. But the Seahawks, that East Coast to West Coast trip is tough. I'm going to go Seahawks. Love the offense. I think they should just throw the ball at DK Metcalf every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Seahawks.
So I'm going Seahawks. I'm just going to say one name, and people are going to agree. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Mm-hmm.
The way he's playing now, he's absolutely taken over that number 2 spot. This next game, me personally, I feel this impacts the rest of their season. Ravens, Cowboys.
It does. In Dallas, 425 game. Baltimore -1. Dallas' defense is better than it was last week. A lot better. It's one of those anomaly games.
But losing 2 in a row at home, it's
tough, dude. But Baltimore starting 0-3 is worse.
That's worse. I know. Yes.
It's almost worse, dude. Especially if Lamar has a bad game.
Yes.
I'm so here for it, though. I'm so ready for that.
That's.
I'm gonna go Dallas.
Okay, so
just because I just think the Ravens are a little shook right now.
They are.
And if Dallas starts off hot, CeeDee Lamb gets going. That defense plays well after getting their asses kicked last week, and they want to.
Yeah.
Forget being the Dallas Cowboys. That there's that defense has just football players want to play better. Michael Parsons, obviously one of the best players in the league. If they get to Lamar a couple times early and get a couple TDs, and I'm all here for it, dude. I wish that was the night game, but that'll be on this way anyway. So yeah, I get the Cowboys.
So I'm going with the Ravens just because if they go 0-3. There's going to be so many questions that are going to be there. Yeah, you don't know. Now, the next game, this is almost a battle of the least injured. The 49ers and the Rams. The Rams don't got their wide receivers. 49ers don't have the running back or technically their second running back in Deebo Samuel. But Jordan Mason's been solid.
I don't know. I'm just going to pick the Chargers. I don't know. I'm not sure how that even works, dude. I'm going to go Chargers.
How are you going Chargers between the 49ers and the Rams?
I mean the Rams. I'm sorry. I was looking at something else. I'm going to go with the Rams. My ESPN thing, the Steelers are selected as one of my favorite teams. So their game against the Chargers is highlighted. So I keep looking at that logo and I see it. So
next
Rams
one,
out. Rams.
I have the 49ers. Lions, Cardinals.
A connection between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. is pretty nuts. But man, Aiden Hutchinson also playing a monster right now.
Yeah, like 4 sacks in one game.
I'm gonna go Cardinals. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going.
I don't trust my pick, but I'm gonna do it.
Well, Steven's done that before.
Yep.
And it went out positive. I'm going with the Lions. Chiefs, Falcons.
Chiefs.
Okay. I have the Chiefs in that one too. Jags against the Bills.
Ugh, Jags suck, dude.
Yep.
They're not as bad as the Panthers, but
I
think Trevor Lawrence needs to the whole team needs to wake up. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Bills.
I'm going with the Bills, of course. Commanders, Bengals.
Probably gonna be a better game than people think. I'm gonna go Bengals, but I don't think it's gonna be like the blowout maybe that people are expecting. I think the Commanders keep it close.
So I'm going with the Bengals. I'm predicting that Jamar Chase has 100 yards receiving in this game because the Commanders' secondary is not good. Yeah. So closing up the show, and I was just talking to someone not too long ago. They'll know who they are. And I was bringing up different people from our past that we've had on the show. And out of all the guests that we've had on the show, who would you say is the most memorable in whichever way possible? And of course, you know who I had to bring up to them, the famous.
Yeah, that's my answer. I had nothing else to say. Yeah, whatever you're thinking is exactly what I'm. There's no way.
No way. And you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? And I don't think I never said it when we were on with said person. But it was funny because it's not like you could say, "Hey, Frank, like I got a question." You had to say
the whole thing. You had to say the name, dude.
You had to say the name, dude, and I couldn't.
Steven said, "I'm not saying it."
I crack up pretty easily, and like that was tough to keep my composure because you had to say it a handful of times. Like
yes,
we're like doing an interview type of thing. So
yes,
you had to say it. So it's not like you can get away with not saying it. Like so that was tough, dude. That takes the cake because you said it a lot. And
oh my gosh, and it was serious. He never was laughing or anything during it. He genuinely was serious about that. The other one, I would say, so we had good ones. Like Tyler was on the show, Mike was on the show, but another memorable, I would say, do you remember the guy Jay who had like the long hair and then he was just like sitting back in his chair with the glasses on? So he wasn't a super memorable person.
Yes, that was early.
It was super early.
That was very early on.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yes.
So I would say that was the other one. By the way, we'll probably just bring Tyler on again just for shits and giggles because he'll honestly talk about anything. And then I was joking around telling someone, I said, yeah, he was like just dipping on the show too. Like
yeah. Strong, dude. Strong.
He was. So kind of closing out, what you got for everyone?
So I said before we went on, and I think I mentioned it too, that my patio is done. And
nice.
You've been to my patio. You've seen what it looked like before. I don't know. Like we've been wanting to do this for like 3 years now. We finally did it. We had some other projects in the house to do. But we did it and we sunk the money into it, and it's fucking dope, dude. Like we're gonna be out there all the time. Fire pit, we have a bar, we have a TV, fridge, everything we need. Like we have, it's just another extension. It's like another room.
Yeah.
And it's pretty closed off back there with like kind of how the fences are and whatnot. So, we did underdeck roofing. We have lights. We have a fan. So it's literally like another room, dude. And I had some of the boys over. Like some of our friends came over with their kids, and we were watching games out there on Sunday, chilling, having some beers, and it was dope. But we're gonna be out there all the time. Like I'm gonna be out there Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, watching games all day. And I got the TV inside. Eventually, I'd love to put another TV out there, make it like a whole thing, but we're good for now. We're good.
Exactly.
But like it's cool. Like we got a lot of compliments about it, not from just like from our friends, but like neighbors who have seen it and like people seen in pictures and whatnot. So yeah, we like a lot of money. Like we sank a good amount into it. Like, but it's only gonna benefit us and benefit the people around us, our friends. We love to host. We love having people over. So this only makes all that significantly better going forward. So very, very, very pumped about that. We're very proud of what we did and like finally did it. And like it only took like 8 weeks. Wow. They're not terrible. There were some hiccups along the way, but nothing crazy. But like now that it's done, they got like 2 more things to do. The fridge is being delivered. They got to fill in the fire pit after inspection type of stuff.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be rock and rolling, dude, and it's gonna be fucking dope. We're gonna have the boys over all the time. Like all the boys are gonna benefit from this.
Yeah.
I just ask that everyone brings me multiple handles or
That's what I'm saying.
This is a beer along the way. That'd be great. Just
Yeah.
keep it stocked.
So we're gonna
Hell
have good times.
Yeah. So today is the Steven show because of his picks and also what he's been doing with the patio. So until next time, we out.